This is a 5th grade lesson for geometry and measurement. The TEK that I have done is 5.AC, which is graphing in the first quadrant. Okay, so let's begin. So I'd start by reviewing the concept of graphing, which we would have previously learned in the lesson the day before. And I will say that the concept of graphing is to show us relationships between data. Next, I'll explain that today we're going to learn how to graph in the first quadrant of a line graph. And I'm going to ask, can anyone tell me what they think that what a quadrant is?
I think a quadrant is...
Okay, if I show you this graph, you know, a graph like this, what do you think a quadrant is?
Like a fourth.
A fourth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. There's 4 quadrants, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on a line graph. And this is our first one that we're going to learn. Good job. So then I'll explain that there are 4 quadrants in a graph and that we're going to be focusing on the first one, which I already did. I'd ask students if they remember how to graph, which
I do.
You know how to graph?
Yes.
Okay, good job. I'll ask who can tell me the steps to graph an ordered pair. Do you know what an ordered pair is?
No.
No? This is an ordered pair. So how would you graph this? If you have your graph like this, how do you think we'd graph that?
We would do
Here's
this.
1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. You know what this is called?
No.
Your origin. So in order to graph this, we need to start at our origin, and we need to go over to the right 1 and up 1, 2. And that's how we graph. So over to the 1 and then up 2. That's our graph. 1, 2, ordered pair.
Okay.
And in our ordered pair, do you know what this is? What does this number stand for?
X.
And what does this number stand for?
Y.
Awesome job. Okay, then after we've discussed that and I've heard the student responses and we've reviewed the steps, I will call students to the front. The student will, I will give the student a coordinated pair. I'll give a student a ordered pair and ask the student to graph themselves on the classroom grid. And I don't have a classroom grid because my house is under construction, but I would just basically ask the students, where is 1, 4 on a grid? And they would tell me the steps that it took them to graph themselves, which would be like, you start at the origin, then I'm gonna move over 2 or 1 actually, because I said 1 over 4 I think. So you move over to the right 1 and then you move up 4. So that's how they would do that, and I would do that for a handful of students. And after that, I would instruct them to get in pairs so that we can explore the concept further. So for this activity, I would give the students a coordinate grid, which is you have 2 parts, which is your attack and then where you would draw your own boats. And this activity is a battleship activity. Students are going to draw their own boats on their section, and then their opponent partner would do the same thing on theirs. They'll have a little graph on the side and I instruct them to plot at least 5 boats. So I've already previously done mine. And after you plot your boats, I would have them fill in theirs on their coordinate chart. On their on their table. So my first coordinate is, my first ordered pair is 4 and 9. So they have a spot to graph your X and your Y axis. And then after they finish doing that, they will get with their partners and roll a dice to see if they hit or miss on their opponent's board. So let me give you an example right here. I rolled a 3 and a 2. So what the student will do is right up here on their opponent's side, they're going to write 3 in the X or the Y, it doesn't matter, and 2 in the X and the Y. So now that gave me 3 and 2 for an ordered pair. So I would go and graph 3 over 2. And I'll ask my opponent if they have anything on the ordered pair 3, 2. No? Okay, so then I missed. So you're going to use this quadrant to mark X when you hit an enemy ship, or a dot when you miss an enemy ship. So I would just put a dot here. And then it would go on like that for a while until the students are done or until further instructed. And then after we go into our closure, which the students should be done working in pairs, and then I would get their attention. After, I will call upon students at random and have them graph an ordered pair on the classroom grid, which I would have a classroom grid at the front of the board, and they will give me one of their boats that they had on here. So mine was 4 over 9. I would have them grid on the board 4, 9, and then it would go like that for a handful of students as well. And then that would be my closing lesson. Thank you.